Good morning, everyone. Frank Halvorson with AM Live and our sports show. This will be the last edition this year as the 2014 Mother Lode League season, well, it's in the books. Let's take a look at how it finished out. Pretty much exactly the way we called it at the beginning of the year. Sonora, newcomer to the league, finished out top dog 6-0. What happened next? As we called at the beginning of the season, Amador and Calaveras are going to come right down to it to see who is going to be second place and who gets the automatic berth in the playoffs. Amador won, just as predicted. I have to toot my horn a little bit. I only lost 2 games all year, 28-2. That's not bad. Amador wins that game 13-8, and let's just talk about that. We'll stall just a minute while we're on that game. Interesting football game. We went over there. There was a lot of anticipation by both sides. Both teams had already technically qualified for the tournament with 5 total wins and 2 league wins, but the winner was going to get the automatic seed as the number 2 placed team in the Mother Lode League. Amador got that. That game started out, Amador took a lead. The third play of the game, Robbie Hahn steps in front of a pass, runs it back for a touchdown, and just like that, it's 6-0. Calaveras goes 3 and out. Amador comes down. It's 13-0 before people even got seeded, and it looked like the runaway was on. Calaveras, we've talked about them all year. With the can't spell Calaveras with a D. Well, things changed. 13-0, Amador. All of a sudden, it goes back and forth. Calaveras scores. It's 13-8 at halftime, and that's the way it ended up. It became a defensive battle in the second half. And talk about defense. Amador's defense was fantastic. They've been playing better and better each week. Iniquez, Santinelli, Sweet, Littlefield, Cole Murphy, and Robbie Hahn had the game of his life. I don't know where he's been all year, but boy, did he have a great game, and the defense really stood tall. They come away with a 13-8 victory, so they finish in league 5-1. Moving down the line, Calaveras finishes at 4-2. Somerville finishes at 3-3. Argonaut 2-4. Linden 1-5, trailed by Bret Hart 0-5. So what does that mean for the playoffs? Totally mixed up this year in the playoffs. They went to a couple different formats. They moved some teams around. So that's what we want to talk about there. The biggest surprise that I saw was Somerville got picked for the playoffs based on their overall record at 6-4, even though they had 1 fewer win in league than Calaveras. Calaveras had 1 fewer win overall. So Somerville gets the at-large bid and is going into the playoffs. Now, granted, they have a very low seed, but they're in the game. Now, let me tell you about what happened with Divisions 4 and 5. The format of both of those sections changed. There used to be 16 teams. This year, there's only 8. There's 8 teams in the Division 4 playoffs. There's 8 teams in the Division 5 playoffs. That means in order to win a section championship, you used to have to win 4 games. Now you only have to win 3. And I'll tell you what, that opens the field up for all of these teams in Division 5. But let's just talk about Division 4 for a minute. Sonora comes in as the number 2 seed behind Central Catholic. And I fully expect Central Catholic and Sonora to be playing for that section championship. Central Catholic went into the Valley Oak League. That's the league that Sonora just left. And they did not win that league, but they've got a good football team, and they always do. That section championship game between Central Catholic and Sonora is going to be a doozy, and that's what I'm calling right now for the championship. Central Catholic, it's hard to bet against them, but Sonora's got a good football team. So let's drop down to number 5. As always, they always drop somebody down that's qualified for the playoffs that didn't do very good in their league. And this year, those 2 teams are Bear River and Colfax. We saw Colfax earlier in the year, and that's who Somerville has to go play. Other than the 3.5-hour drive that Somerville's going to have to get on a bus and drive all the way to Colfax, that's going to be their biggest challenge for this game, because I saw Colfax at the beginning of the year against Argonaut. Colfax beat them, but that is not the Colfax team of old. And I really believe that Somerville, going in as the number 7 seed, has a good chance to upset Calaveras if they can get over that bus ride. So Somerville with the number 7 seed is going to be at Colfax number 2. Bear River, we also saw them earlier in the year. They play Orostimba. Bear River isn't all of that, and that's why I think Amador has a real chance. They go to Mariposa County, okay? Amador, Mariposa County, if you look at their strength of scheduling and you look at who they're played, they haven't played anybody, folks. And I think this is a game that Amador can win. Now, Mariposa loves to throw the ball. Their senior quarterback threw for 2,000. That's right, 2,000 yards and 18 touchdowns. Their leading receiver has over 1,100 yards, and then they have a rusher that rushed for over 1,000 yards. But you know what? I believe that's playing in the strength of Amador. Their defense is playing outstanding, and I think they can generate enough offense that they can go in and they can win this football game. I pick Amador in the upset, and they're going to move on to the second round. And if they win that game, then they face the winner of the Colfax-Somerville game. These are games, and like I said, you only have to win 3. These are games that I believe Amador has the opportunity to move far into these playoffs just because of the new setup and the way it's situated. So one thing I was disappointed with last week over at Calaveras, Amador fans, where the heck were you? Load up some Rooter buses, get your ass up there to Mariposa and support that team. You got a good football team and you've got a chance of going far in these playoffs, but they need your support. You need to be in the stands. You need to be cheering. Get those Rooter buses going. Fly those Buffalo banners. Get up there and support your team. Amador's going to win an upset this week. We'll see what happens over that, but I really believe they have an opportunity. Other than that, it was a great Mother Lode League season. We thank you all for watching. We had fun. We hope you had fun watching us, and hopefully we'll see you again next year. Goodbye, everybody.
You're watching Amador County's local television network,